Hey guys, what is up? I am back with a Protoss First Terran guide for you today, this time looking at Robo into Blink. Very standard opener on the new patch, and with the changes to Blink, now it costs 100, the changes to the Robo facility, which costs 150 minerals down from 200. This build order has been revitalized, it's so much smoother now, it feels much nicer to play, and I've been having a lot of success with it. You know, I'm a prolific Stargate user, but I wanted to learn this style for a long time, so I've been learning it the past week or so I'm here to show you guys a guide, how I approach it. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. This will be a game against more of like a macro opening from my Terran opponent, so this will really just show off the opening build order, meaning like, if you know everything goes well, this is what your games will look like. But PvT, they get scrappy, Hellions run by, Winter Mines get dropped, you lose probes occasionally, so scrappy games do happen, so you will just have to be able to adjust on the fly, and that kind of stuff comes with practice and time. So if you get the basics of this build down, you'll be able to go back to it. You know, you might be delayed 30 seconds, but the order of everything still lines up the same. So I do a Gateway Scout, exactly the same as what I've done in all my other videos on PvT. If you guys need help with proxies in PvT, I have a video based on that. Dealing with marine tank pushes, I already have a video based on that as well. And my general Stargate build order as well, which I think works perfectly fine on the new patch. The Oracle change hasn't really done anything for PvT that affects that. And I was also still opening like Stalker and Adept, so I haven't done any Gate Core Nexus guides as well, so they're not outdated. All my PvT guides still all relevant, so go check them out as well. We're opening completely standard 21 gas, 22 pylon on the low ground. Now this probe is very important. The reason this probe is important is we want to send it back in around 2 minutes 15 to check if he's building a factory next to his barracks with a reactor on it. Or also in this game to see if he's doing something silly like building a tech lab there. It's possible, and because we're you know, scouting very diligently with our probe, we'll be able to see this coming and react appropriately. At home, chrono boosting Stalker, chrono boosting the probe, completely standard. And we go across the map and we see this, and we see concussive shell, so we know it's a Marauder opening. The way I'm going to react to this is I'm going to add a shield battery at the low ground. So then, once I start up my second Stalker, my next building is the Robo facility. You can go Blink here. The order of these two buildings, you can switch it up either way really. I was trying out going Robo facility extremely quickly, because with the Observer speed buff, the Observers get across the map really quickly and you can see what's coming to hit you. So I was trying out this opening. We add on our third Stalker. At this point you would be adding on like your Twilight Council, but I add on a shield battery, so it's slightly delayed in this game. But that's fine. But like I said, my opponent in this game is actually doing a very macro-centric opening. He's building like Marauders into 3 CEC. It's very strange. But that's fine, we can just look at our build order back at home. Robo, Twilight. In this game our Twilight is quite late, because I thought I was going to be pressured a bit more. But that's fine. And then we're going to add 2 gateways. Against Hellions, you want to add the 2 gateways in the natural, like every time. If you're not playing against Hellions, you probably want to add them in the main. You can still add them in the natural, but if you're up against a Marine Tank Banshee push, having them in the natural as part of the wall can be detrimental. Now you grab a 4-minute gas or around there. In this game I was slightly delayed, so yeah, kind of a bit late. But 4-minute gas, and then you send a probe to take your third. And you're going to cut probes so that you have full saturation on your main base, full mineral saturation on your natural, and for your gas. And then you cut probes and you add all your tech. So I should be going to take a third base just shortly. If you're, you know, really on top of it, you can get down at like 4 minutes 15, 4 minutes 10 even. Man, my probe even gets stuck. How unfortunate. But yeah, so what I do? Okay. So my observer, my speedy boy, goes around, sees third command center. I know I'm not being pressured, so I can be extremely greedy in this situation. But if this observer arrived and I saw, let's say, like a 1-1-1 push with banshees coming and stuff like this, I would not be adding double forge, and I would not be adding my gateways immediately. I would be warping in more stalkers. But if you can be greedy, you only want to warp in like 5 stalkers. Against heavier pressure, warp in as many stalkers as you need and try and go across the map and deal with his push. If he's doing like a Widow Mine drop or something, you might warp in like 6 stalkers, 8 stalkers, enough to deal with a medevac, and then just go straight into our next stage of this game plan, which is double forge. So we're going to be sticking on 3 gas for a very long time, and you can't afford stalkers if you stick on 3 gas. You can't afford more than like 8 stalkers, and still afford your double upgrades, some sentries, charge, blink, all that, right? So we want to keep our stalker count as low as possible, unless we're being pressured, in which case we build more stalkers and we delay our forges a bit, we delay our gateways just a tiny bit as well. Now, as you'll notice, I cut probes to get these gateways down. I go up to 6 initially, but I'll go up to 8 in just a second as well. One other thing that I'll note, against like a Marine Tank Banshee push, you want your stalkers to be very active. If they arrive at like the bottom of this ramp with tanks, and you haven't slowed him down and you haven't picked away at him, they're going to kill you pretty much every time if they execute well. So you need to be out on the map. If you can get your Blink Stalkers across the map before a 1-1-1 pushes out with Blink, you're in an amazing position because you can just slow down their push forever. But let's say they do get here. What do you do? What is your game plan? Well, what I would suggest is moving your stalkers around and cleaning up reinforcements. So he can't really push into you because you might have a force field or something and a few units there, but he also can't reinforce his army. So while you continue to build up more units, he isn't growing any larger and you'll be able to deal with it that way. So that's just a small tip for how to deal with a Marine Tank Banshee push. Now, one thing I need to talk about, chrono usage. Everything goes into the forges. If you're being attacked and you need charge, you put chrono boost into that. But apart from that, everything into your upgrades. You want to hit 2-2 as quickly as possible, because once you hit 2-2, your army becomes insane. Zealots, Guardian Shield, with 2-2, just roll every single Terran army, okay? And that's why we're staying on 3 gases for so long. We can take a 7-minute 4th base. If you're being pressured, it would turn into like an 8-minute 4th base, but it's ridiculously fast. And that's just because Zealots with upgrades are so powerful. So I try and do as much pressure as I can to keep the Terran at home with my Blink Stalkers. Pick up a few supply depots here or there. I'm not looking to deal kill him or anything. Just looking to delay him, pick off what I can, right? Do not lose the Stalkers. Stalkers are expensive. They cost a lot of gas. Now, at this point in the game, because he still hasn't attacked me, I start transitioning to higher AoE. If he was to be attacking me, I just want to be massing Zealots. I would be warping in 8 Zealots, 8 Zealots, 8 Zealots. But because he's being very defensive, I'm going to add a Robo Bay and a Robo Facility, adding my gases on my 3rd base as well. Now, you don't have to go Colossus or Disruptors. You can go Templar instead. I think that's probably the more stable style to play and the more standard way to play. But in this game, I just felt like going for double Robo. But it's pretty much entirely your preference. What I would say though is if you're being attacked, if it is a hectic game, just warp in Zealots. Warp in Zealots. Don't worry about teching up. You just need to get to 2-2 and really deal with all of the Terran aggression, and then you tech up to higher tech and AoE. You also notice on the minimap, my map vision. Zealot down here, Zealot over here, Zealot, 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 Zealot. I've spread Zealots all across the map, and one here as well. No drop is going to sneak by. Okay, I'm never going to be caught off guard. You want to do this. You want to send Zealots out, you want to build Pylons. Form a line across the map where no vision, no Terran units are going to get past you. They're not going to be able to sneak through your vision, okay? As you can see, I'm chrono boosting my upgrades. He's going to have 1-1 and I'm going to have 2-2. And that is massive. I'm also starting Colossus as well, so when he finally does decide to push across the map, with his big, 3-base all-in of sorts, we're going to be in a great position to deal with it. We have 4 bases. Once again, you don't need to really probe this up. You sort of just transfer workers from your main base and a few that you overbuild. I go to 66 probes this game. It's probably too little. You probably want 72 probes, especially if you're playing Templar style. Go up to 72 probes, which is a fully saturated 4th base. But with Colossus, I was sort of doing this old school thing in my head where I was staying on a bit of a lower worker count so I could have a bigger army. But that's fine. Start 3-3 immediately. Upgrades are the key to this. Now I'm going to talk about late game TVP, just how it sort of flows, just while this attack is going across the map. The way you transition, the stages of the game. Stages of the game start off with mass charge lot. Actually, no, I'll go one step further. Blink Stalker and Blink Stalker pressure. Blink Stalker to secure your 3rd base. Once that gets up and you have charge almost done, you're producing pure zealots. Pure zealots. Zealots with upgrades destroy Terran, and the few Stalkers that you have will be able to snipe the Medivacs. Okay? Once you get to like 150 army supply, especially if they're being aggressive, or you clean up their army, you want to add some AoE, and you want to add your gases on your 3rd base. So that can be Robo like I do in this game, or it could be Templar Archives. Templar Archives is probably the more standard tech path to go, and it's probably stronger, but it's completely up to you which one you want to get. I think either is completely viable. Now, if you go Templar, eventually they're going to have Ghost on the field. Like, after that point, once you're nearing 3-3, you then add double Robo as well. At some point, you're going to always want to get double Robo. In this game, I go double Robo first. Not necessarily do I have to go Templar Archives though. I would probably mix in Disruptors, and then go Tempest. That's the game plan if you're going double Robo. Of course, you can go Templar Archives, but I think Disruptors do the job just fine, and having too much to micro is a big issue. So as we can see, my army, just pure Zealot. We do hallucinate a few Colossus because he's attacking just before my 2nd Colossus is out. We just want to delay as much as we can. But our army's massive, and we're 2-2 versus 1-1. So, can I zoom out? I can't remember what my hotkey is. Sorry, boys. Cannot remember what my zoom out hotkey is. So we go for a bit of engage. It's not the best engagement. We're fighting on 2 fronts, but with the upgrade advantage, with the AoE, we don't trade the best, but we trade well enough. And the continued stims are eventually going to wear him down. One thing that you should consider as well is adding Dark Templar. I don't do it nearly enough. I think I definitely should be adding Dark Templar into my composition. If you open Templar Archives, I think the perfect time to add a Dark Shrine is when you're adding your double Robo as well. Chuck down that Dark Shrine as well. So then you can do Zealot, Charge Slot, DT run bys. The other thing is, what is the correct Colossus count in a standard macro game? The answer is probably 4 off double Robo, and then you want to go into Disruptors. 6 is definitely the maximum number of Colossus you want. Anything more than that and they sort of derp out and they don't really gel well together. But if you have 4 Colossus, that's like the ideal number. If you guys didn't know, Colossus are a really good counter to Liberators, because you can just like zone out of the circles and dodge the Terran army. One thing that I don't do enough of, and I'm trying to work on this as well, is Warp Prism harassment. And I think in the mid game as well, if you're not building Immortals out of your Robo, you should be building a couple of Warp Prisms and doing counterattacks. As you can see, this counterattack's going to win the game, you know. I'm fighting this army here, sort of awkwardly, but we're pulling him apart there. He's going to counterattack here, but he's just falling apart back at home. And with the counterattack, we're going to roll over him. Why? He leaves with no GG, as usual. Why did this happen? 1-1, versus 3-3. Also, we got a juicy disruptor shot. But upgrades are so important, and that's the brilliance or the strength of this style. By massing charge slots and by staying on 3 gases, you can go extremely quick double forge. We're talking 4 minutes 50 if you go back and check the VOD. And you're just going to have 2-2 by the time your opponent has 1-1, essentially, if you're chrono boosting it properly. And that sort of advantage gives you so much strength in the mid game to really just overpower Terran. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you like this guide, please share it with your friends, like, comment below, and if you're enjoying the content that I make, please subscribe, stay up to date for the latest videos. In other news, I've got WCS Winter coming up. My group plays in 2 weeks. I've got an interesting group with a few Protoss vs Terrans that I'll have to play, so look forward to that and please cheer for me. I hope you guys have a lovely time, a lovely day. I hope you guys try out this build on the ladder and it has some success for you. Without further ado, goodbye guys.